Have you ever noticed how the wealthiest people in Jamaica, the big men driving the latest Range Rover through cherry gardens, are overlooking the coast from their villas in St. Anne? They don't actually seem to own anything in their own names. If you were to check the title for their homes, it's held by a company. The vehicle, owned by the business. Even the pimento or the ackee or the cassava farm that they operate, they're often tucked away inside a carefully crafted corporate structure. No, this doesn't mean that they are broke. In fact, it's quite the opposite. They have mastered a secret that most of us are not taught in school. Ownership is a liability, but control is power. In today's video, we are going deep. We are breaking down why the Jamaican rich own nothing and how you can use the Companies Act of Jamaica to build a financial firewall that protects your legacy. If you want more videos like this, please click that like and subscribe to the channel right now. It will really help our community grow. Plus, you will receive notification when we release more content like this in the future. To understand this, we first have to dismantle the old school Jamaican mindset. Many of us were raised to believe that success means having your name physically printed on every asset. Your car, your land, or your house. But the moment you own something personally, you make yourself a target. In this new financial world of 2026, whether you are a professional, a contractor, or a budding entrepreneur, you are one lawsuit or one bad debt away from personal financial ruin. If you own your assets personally and you run into a legal dispute with a contractor or a business partner, they don't just come after your business. They come after your family home, your children's education fund, and your personal bank accounts at NCB or Sagicor. The wealthy avoid this by never owning the assets. They own the entity that owns the asset. This is where the Jamaican financial firewall comes into play. Under the Companies Act of Jamaica, a limited liability company, LLC, is recognized as a separate legal person. It is not you. It has its own TRN, its own bank accounts, and its own legal standing. To visualize this, let us look at two different entrepreneurs flipping cars in Kingston. One operates as a sole trader in their own name. If a car they sold has a major mechanical fault and they get sued, a court judgment could lead to the seizure of their personal assets to pay the debt. However, if the same entrepreneur run their car flipping business through a registered company, the rules change entirely. If the company is sued, only the assets inside that company are at risk. Their personal residence, their private investments, and their family security remain safe behind that corporate wall. This is the difference between losing a business and losing your life's work. But protection is only half the story. The real chess game happens with the Tax Administration Jamaica. When you hear people say that the rich don't pay taxes, they usually mean that the rich are playing a game of tax timing and efficiency. If you earn a high salary in Jamaica, you likely hit the 25 or 30% tax bracket, and the government takes its slice via PAYE before you even see the money. However, when you operate through a company, the rules change. A company pays for its legitimate business expenses, the fuel for your farm visits, the laptop for your design work, the utilities for your office, with pre-tax dollars before calculating profit. Furthermore, while personal income tax can be high, the corporate tax rate for many unregulated business is a flat 25%. When it's time to take money out, the wealthy often use dividends, which are currently taxed at a lower rate of 15% compared to the highest personal income tax brackets. This allows for massive reinvestment and wealth compounding that the average employee simply cannot access. Furthermore, Jamaica currently has no capital gains tax. If you own a piece of land in Negril personally and you sell it for a profit, that's great. But if your company owns that land and you use the proceeds to reinvest in a cassava farm or buy more real estate, that wealth stays within the corporate structure, protected and ready to grow further without being depleted by heavy personal tax upon the sale. This is how old money in Jamaica stays old, by keeping the wealth inside entities that don't die when the person does. However, you can't just register a company and call it a day. To move like the 1%, you must follow the rules, or a judge could pierce the corporate veil and hold you personally liable anyway. The first rule is stop blurring the lines. You cannot use your business card to buy a Sunday dinner or pay for a night out at Ribby's unless it is a documented business meeting. You must treat your company like a separate person. No commingling of funds. Second, be extremely wary of the personal guarantee. Jamaican banks are notorious for asking you to sign a personal guarantee on business loans. The moment you sign that, your limited liability disappears for that specific debt. The rich negotiate these terms, often offering company-backed collaterals instead of their personal signature. Finally, you must learn to separate your risks. If you have a rental property, an agricultural venture, and a consulting business, don't put them all in one company. If the farm has a bad crop year and it falls into debt, you don't want your creditors to have a claim on your rental property. By using a holding company structure, you can have one parent company that owns several smaller subsidiaries. This way, each business stands on its own, and a failure in one doesn't bring down the entire empire. This strategy is not just for the elite in uptown Kingston. Whether you are a web designer, a pimento farmer, or you just start to invest in the Jamaica Stock Exchange, you can adopt this mindset today. Stop asking, how much do I own? And start asking, how much do I control? Wealth is not just a collection of things that you sit on. It's a machine you build and maintain. In Jamaica, the legal and financial systems are tools. You just have to be deliberate enough to pick them up and use them. Thanks for watching Money Talk JA. If you're ready to stop trading time for money and start building real Jamaican legacy, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're going deep into personal finance, business strategy, and investing right here in the 876. I'll see you in the next one. Click the link on screen now to watch another Jamaican financial content. Catch you in the next video.